the launch of the Geevagh Community Health and Wellbeing Night. Great to see such a crowd here. I want to introduce our MC for the night. He's a former Eurovision winner, author of Forever Rock and Roll Kid. He's travelled a long way, all the way from Drumshanbo to be here tonight. Please welcome Charlie McGettigan.
How are you all? It's lovely to look down and I see lots of grey hair and bald people. Some of the men are even bald, that's great. So you're in for a great night tonight. We're going to talk a little bit tonight. It's by way of introduction to something that's coming up later on in April. And it's called the Geevagh Community Health and Wellbeing Night. Anybody who's ever been at the ones that he had up in these are all result of Valerie, who you just know there, and Hubert McHugh. Started off these events in could be 10 years ago, and in the Bush Hotel, and there was about 200 people at the event. And it said, what could 200 people sit in a room and listen to people telling their stories, just ordinary people. But the last one he had, I think they had up on 1,000 people in Carrick-on-Shannon. And wonderful guests, people like Oisin McConville, who was a great footballer, who spoke about his gambling problem and about all the money that he wasted talking about gambling. He had Nora Owen there, who was, her husband had Alzheimer's. And all these people came along to hear these stories, and the reason they came was they were hoping they'd hear something that might console them, that might have something in common with them. And they turned out to be great crowd pullers and great nights, up to 3 hours long, and you never felt the time going. People talking about, their life experiences and stuff like that. So this night here is sort of by way of introduction to the Geevagh Community Health and Wellbeing Night, which is something similar, and some really well-known people are coming along to sort of talk and talk about their problems. For example, the master of ceremonies on the night will be Tommy Marrin. Anybody who ever listens to that awful radio station, Midwest, we never talk about it over here because Shannon Side is ours. Isn't that right? We all listen to Shannon Side. But Tommy's coming along, and he'll be the master of ceremonies. Sean Keane, you know Sean, the great singer from over in Galway. Cora Staunton, Ireland's best-known ladies Gaelic footballer. She's an author as well. Saw her on the telly the other night, and she's going to be there. They all have different stories to tell. So Frank Diamond, he was at the last one we had. Was anybody at the one in Killinummery? Did you enjoy it? Yeah, wasn't it interesting? It was a really interesting night. So he was there before, and on the night then, Sandy Kelly, who we'll be meeting later, and myself will sing a song or two and have a bit of crack just to lighten the whole load. But we're not going to go straight in. This night is by way of introduction, so that you'll know what's going to be happening later on when the full night happens. So we're going to start off with a bit of light entertainment, and these ladies over here, all dressed in their football outfits, I actually have their names, would you believe? And I'll ask them to come on in order. Louise, where's Louise? Get up here, Louise, and stand up. Isn't she a fine lump of a woman? That's Louise. Give her a big round of applause. Where's Nora? No, stay up, Louise. Don't be going away. Are you going to dance? Hiya, Nora. You're welcome. Are you a good dancer? They're horrid big boots you have on. Why are you wearing those boots? Are they for click and clack on the floor? Yeah. Now, we also have Juliet. They're very exotic names. Juliet, come on. Hello, Juliet. Come over and say hello. We have Emma. Hello. And anybody ever see Dr. Geevagh? There was a great tune. The theme music was Lara's theme. Somewhere, my love, there will be some. And Lara is with us as well. Where's Lara? Come over here and say hello. Come over here. How are you? You're well. Good. Amelia. Did you ever fly a plane? Lovely curls. Well done. And lastly, we have Jess. Where's Jess? And who are you? Who are you? Ariana. I knew it was a long one. Ariana and Jess, give them a big round of applause. They're going to do some dancing for you now, so welcome the dance troupe. Oh my God. That was fantastic. You were brilliant. Wasn't that something else? The McMorris School of Irish Dancing. Give them a round of applause. I can't just imagine the amount of work that went into getting them to that stage. There was some really, really fine dancing there. And legs gone up over their heads. It's a long time since I did that myself, but I'm working on it. There's no doubt about it. Well, look, I have some more entertainment for you now. This is a man that I've known for, I say, about 20 years since he moved to Drumshambo from Monaghan. And he's a great singer, loves to sing country music, and a great guitar player. And he's going to sing a few songs for you now. He's going to sing them very gingerly. He's had some very bad troubles in the nether regions for the last fortnight, and he's just being as careful as he possibly can. But keep your noses closed just in case. Would you welcome Mickey Clerkin?
Thank you very much, Charlie. There's a couple of tunes. I'm going to start off with one called Sylvia's Mother. Sylvia's mother says Sylvia is busy, too busy to come to the phone. Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's trying to start a new life of her own. Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's happy, so why don't you leave her alone? Then the operator says 40 cents more for the next 3 minutes. Please, Mrs. Avery, I just gotta talk to her. We'll only keep her a while. Please, Mrs. Avery, I just gotta tell her goodbye. Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's packing. She's gonna be leaving today. Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's marrying a fairly down gal Mr. Way. Sylvia's mother says please don't say nothing to make her start crying and stay. Then the operator says 40 cents more for the next 3 minutes. Please, Mrs. Avery, I just gotta talk to her. I'll only keep her a while. Please, Mrs. Avery, I just gotta tell her goodbye. Oh, please, Mrs. Avery, I just gotta talk to her. I'll only keep her a while. Please, Mrs. Avery, I just gotta tell her goodbye. 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 Thank you very much. Thank you. In no time waltz, I'm going to finish off with this one. I'd just like to thank Hubert for inviting me here this evening. It's one recorded by Jimmy Buckley, and it's all about your wedding day. First time I saw you, I loved you with all of my heart. First time I held you, I knew someday we would part. Next Saturday morning, church, I'll give you away. My eyes there's happy tears I can't hide on your wedding day. Well, it's hard to imagine a baby so tiny and small is now a young lady of beauty so pretty and tall. And I know you look lovely in your wedding dress and bouquet as you walk down the aisle with your husband on your wedding day. Your mother, she nursed you through many's a heartache and pain. And if you were to ask her, she'd do it all over again. She's watched you grow into the woman that you are today. She's so happy and proud of her daughter on her wedding day. Well, it's hard to imagine a baby so tiny and small is now a young lady of beauty so pretty and tall. And I know you look lovely in your wedding dress and bouquet as you walk down the aisle with your husband on your wedding day. The man you will marry, I'll be proud to call him my son. He's your partner in life you have chosen above everyone. And I know that he loves you and cares for you every day, like your mother and I cared for you in the very same way. Well, it's hard to imagine a baby so tiny and small is now a young lady of beauty so pretty and tall. And I know you look lovely in your wedding dress and bouquet as you walk down the aisle with your husband on your wedding day. As you walk down the aisle with your husband on your wedding day. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you.
Well, Michael, that was really good. Did you enjoy Michael there? Give him a big round of applause. Mickey Clerkin. We're going to have, yeah, I'll work over here. We're going to have some people now to talk to you about what's happening in the sporting world in Geevagh, and in particularly in relation to the event that's upcoming later on. So would you please welcome on stage Louise Lavin, who's the chairperson of the Geevagh Ladies Football. Come up. Do a big round of applause. Hopefully Sarah Reynolds is somewhere near as well. Do a big round of applause. And somebody's going to tell us about the One Good Club project, and that's Dermot McDermott. Where are you, Dermot? Does this come off, Michael? It does. There's got bits of things stuck onto it here. Hopefully that will work. You're going out across the world now via Facebook from this man up here behind you with the camera. So now, and would you also welcome on stage somebody who later on is going to sing a song for you. but she's going to launch the special event. Would you welcome Sandy Kelly? Now, it's my first time being in this venue here in Geevagh, and I've passed Geevagh so many times down the years, I never knew this place existed, but it's a wonderful centre you have here, so congratulations to you on that. Now, we've got Louise Lavin here on my right, and how are you, Louise? Hi, just want to ask you, you're the chairperson of the Geevagh Ladies Football. How did it all start?
Well, the club was basically a men's club for a very long time, and in 2000 we started a ladies LGFA club. We had an under 14 and an under 18 team, and from then it has grown, and we've had a very successful ladies team for a long, long time. Many of them are still involved in the club, and it has grown in membership. We now have over 85 members in the LGFA side of the club.
There are 85 women willing to play football in this.
Well, between underage and senior
That's
ladies.
fantastic. That's amazing.
And on the men's side, we have about 110, between 110 and 120, between underage and everything. So we're a small parish here at the edge of County Sligo, because as you know, Roscommon is only 2 miles over the road. Shamrock Gales is the nearest club to us, is another 2 miles down that way. Yeah. We have the mountain on this side, and then on the other side we have Lough Arrow. So we're right at the end of the county. So we're a very small club, but we're a mighty club.
Who was the motivator? Who was the person that sort of said, I'm taking this by the bull by the horns and I'm going to get this team together? Was it a woman or was it a man?
Well, I have to say, in this instance, for this project, it was a man. It was Dermot here beside me.
I'm talking really when you go back to when it all started, when the Leitrim ladies, well, the Leitrim, I didn't mention Leitrim, when you decided about a ladies' team, was it difficult to get women and girls to get involved, or did it start at underage?
We started at underage, yeah. And we had a lot of involvement from the local schools as well. We had John Hughes, who's a major GA influence in the parish, and he would have developed the skills in the local schools as well. Yeah. So John would have been a big influence on the girls, and then we had a lady that came from Dublin, but her parents were originally from the area. She was Maureen Moyson, and she has done tremendous work and is still very, very much involved with the club and is the backbone of the club, really.
My wife is always saying, oh, sure, look at them, they're all wearing the fake tan. Is there a chemist shop somewhere around here that's making a fortune out of this fake tan?
I don't know, there's no chemist shop in Geevagh anyways.
Well, there's a lady beside you here, and I don't think she'd wear fake tan at all. She's got a nice colour anyway. Well, maybe you'd hand the microphone over to Sarah. Sarah, did we meet before over in somewhere? No, you look very familiar to me.
I'm not sure. We might have. But
yeah. What are you a part of the football team as well?
I am. Yeah.
What do you get out of it? What is is it the social aspect or the competition aspect, or what is it, the big thing?
Well, I've been involved for many years now, so that is a good question. What do we get out of it?
Yeah.
But you get so much out of it. I mean, definitely the social aspect is where you meet somebody for an hour on a Tuesday evening, on a Friday evening, and then again on Sunday, and then not just in your own club, you know, you meet loads of girls from all around the county, and then of course you've got the fitness side of things, so that's always a great motivator as well.
Have you a gym in the close to you because nearly every football club has a gym of some sort now?
Yeah, we've got a gym.
So how many hours would you spend in the gym a week? Do you go as much as
club secrets like that. S&C work is just top secret here.
We always think of ladies football because in my generation, you know, ladies were ladies, and you would think they were very vulnerable, you know, to get out on a football pitch, and it's a physical contact sport, and you always think, oh God, somebody's going to get badly hurt. Is injury a big problem in the game, or do you all manage without getting injured, or what is it?
Yeah, no, thankfully, personally, I suppose I've never really had any major injuries, so lucky that side of things. But definitely there are injuries, but just like there are in men, so there's nothing major.
I noticed watching ladies football, you're very much, you obey the rules a lot more than the men do. There's very little fouling in the game. It's all very stylish and all very skillful. Is that just the nature of women, or is that just because you're more conscious of it?
I suppose it is meant to be a non-contact sport to an extent.
Yeah.
So referees take that on board, I guess. So maybe it's kind of at the referee level side of things.
You know, we see fights breaking out at games with men, and you know, there's
Oh
something,
yeah, we control ourselves.
That's
a
why
little
you
bit
call yourselves ladies.
Yes, yeah.
Well, Dermot McDermott there, you maybe hand the mic over to him. Tell me about this One Good Club project. What is that all about?
So the One Good Club is basically an initiative with the LGFA and Jigsaw, which is...
What's Jigsaw?
Jigsaw is basically an organisation that is involved in mental health, youth mental health and well-being.
Yeah.
2019 is when this started off, just before COVID, and then for COVID it didn't happen, but it launched again in February this year. And we were lucky enough to be picked to represent Sligo in the...
What did you have to do? You know, what was the criteria for starting this? What kind of projects would you have to complete?
So the criteria, I suppose, I did start it off, I suppose, as Louise said there, we just applied, we had to put in a message to say why we would be picked for this competition.
Yeah.
And I suppose, as Louise said, we're a small club and sponsorship can be hard to get for jerseys and stuff for teams. So there was a set of jerseys which drew all our eye. We says we'd definitely take them in Geevagh if we got them. Yeah. So we did become successful then, and we'll get the jerseys, but we have a 10-week programme to complete. Yeah, tell me about that.
What kind of things are in the programme?
In that then, it's like 5 a day, like for your fruit and veg. There's 5 topics basically for your mental health as well, which are up here on the wall behind us in the Jigsaw. So you have basically be active, take notice, give, connect and keep learning.
Take notice, what does that mean?
So take notice is this week actually, so it's for the kids basically, or for anyone. We have a few things that we've done there, basically take notice of your mental health, take notice of your environment, take notice of your surroundings. I suppose one thing we done there was with the play school, the Geevagh Play School visited the national school for the smaller kids to take notice of the 5th and 6th class.
Right.
And vice versa, they done little games and stuff with them. We also done a biodiversity event last Sunday with UCD. And
what was involved in that?
Involved in that is basically called Gathering of the Trees, or Meeting of the Trees. So it's like the football pitches where kids and people meet. So we have 15 trees planted there by kids and the ladies team last Sunday. So I suppose as the kids grow older, the trees will grow older, and in years to come,
with them.
Yeah. So they'll be taking notice of that. It's not just last Sunday, they'll be taking notice of that for the next century.
There's quite a lot of talk, and in this particular evening that's coming up later on in April, about what you just mentioned, mental health and stuff like that. How much of mental health is a result of sort of subtle bullying that goes on? Is that, when you say take notice, are you watching out for, are you asking people to watch out for that kind of thing?
Well, I suppose we're not really, it's hard. I suppose a lot of bullying probably you wouldn't actually notice it. It could be through social media, different aspects. And I suppose our idea is to, especially with football, or to get away from social media, to get out in the community. That's what this is about. Yeah. So to try and prevent yourself from getting bullied.
Now you were in the Sligo parade this year, St Patrick's Day parade.
We were in the parade last on Paddy's Day. Yeah, so that took off. Basically, at the start, we got the email to say we were accepted into the competition, and then there was loads of phone calls, and there's lots with this work and there's different things. So we had a meeting here on this following Sunday, and everyone that attended the meeting was saying, "Let's go for this. We'll do it, and hopefully do well." And so we took up with ideas then of getting people together and getting out. That was the Be Active theme. Yeah. So we got a float in, and we had dancers, we had Fjorish Irish wolfhounds, we had all the GA men and women, kids.
Tell me about the Furish Irish Wolfhounds. Where did you get them?
So there's just over the road here, the River Furish is here. So basically the second house on the right after the River Furish, that's where these dogs live. So they're in Crufts, they're basically championship winners in Crufts. Mary and Brian Cullen
Brilliant.
basically owns them, and they came on the day. They brought a lot of attention to us, and we ended up being the best represented team in the parade.
Round of applause for that, Charlie. And here's the trophy to prove
The
it.
trophy here that Valerie's holding up.
Well done, well done.
Thank you, Valerie.
Now, the word shark came up. What's that about? It's down here written somewhere. Tell me about that.
Yes, so we had a float saying that it says baby shark. So again, we have a WhatsApp group, so we put up a message, what team will we use? So I think Elaine is here somewhere. There was Elaine's idea for the logo that's on the bottom. So basically, Geevagh's One Good Club and Baby Shark getting their teeth stuck into mental health and well-being.
Love it. Well done. That's brilliant. I've known Sandy Kelly, I say for the bones of 30 or 40 years, Sandy, at this stage.
A long time anyway.
Yeah.
Hello,
But
everybody.
One thing that I found very interesting about Sandy was Sandy originally was Sandy Dusky.
Yeah.
And you used to be on the travelling road shows. We used to I remember the one that used to come to Bundoran was the McFadden troupe.
That's right. They would have been big friends of my family.
Tell us a little bit about your, because I know there was a play written literally about your life and those back in I suppose it was the 1950s, was it?
Well, my grandfather started I'm sure somebody here tonight remembers the Fit Up travelling shows. And for those of you that don't, they were the only form of variety at that time. He started the show in 1924.
My God.
Yeah, back in 1924.
Yeah.
And of course, nobody had television at that time, or there was no cinemas or anything like that. So every night that my family put on a show, there would be a play, a different play every night. There would be comedy sketches. There was a magician who used to electrocute himself every night. And in an electric chair. I think he was kind of the star of the show. And my grandfather, who used to tap dance and sing. My grandmother used to yodel and sing. My father was a comedian. My mum was a musician. She was from Ballintoher. And that's actually how I ended up being from this part of the country, because the show rolled into Ballintoher, unfortunately, from my mother.
Yes.
And she went to the show, which was all the more unfortunate. And my father threw the old glad eye on her. And she glanced back, and a year later, when she was 21, they eloped. Nowadays, if you elope, you go, I don't know, where would you go? New York or Paris? They went to Ballinagar. So they got married in Ballinagar. So that's kind of, and I suppose I was born into that.
Yes.
Charlie. And
At what stage do you remember your first time getting up on the stage?
No, I always laugh when people ask me how I started singing and in show business, because I never started. I was carried on the stage. If they needed a baby in a play, I was carried on. And so I never really had that choice.
Yeah.
But I do remember, believe it or not, from 3 years old, 4 years old, being on stage, either as a child in a play. I was the assistant to my uncle, who was the magician. Whatever needed to be done, really, you did it.
And did all these people that were in the show, did they all travel together in a car or van?
We lived. You see, it wasn't like a circus really, but in living conditions. Everybody lived in a caravan.
Yes.
And it was my father's brothers, sisters, then the people they married, their children, my grandfather, my grandmother. And they would all travel together in their own individual caravans. Initially, they would have been horse-drawn originally. They would have been drawn by horses. I'm not that old, so I don't remember that. But I do remember the cars and the trucks.
And do you remember how far around the country would you go? Was it just right over the country?
Everywhere, yeah.
Yeah. And do you remember any particular favourite places that you like to go?
Well, I do remember Achill.
Yeah.
Because if we did good business, like sometimes people wouldn't have the money to pay on the door, but my grandfather would take food instead. So you could bring eggs or you could bring potatoes, or in Achill, I know we ate a lot of fish.
Yeah.
And I remember waking up in the morning to the tapping in a saucepan, and it was cockles. My father was boiling for the breakfast in the morning, can you imagine? So we did good business in Achill, so we were there for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I remember that very well.
How long would you stay, say for example, I don't want to denounce Geevagh, but would you have come to a place as small as Geevagh? Or would it be the nearest town?
Yeah, I'm sure people come up to me all of the time that came to the show as youngsters.
Yeah.
Because if you've seen my grandfather was called Dusky Dan.
Yeah.
And his variety show, kind of like a medicine man, if you like. And if the poster went up in Geevagh, I'm sure there was a queue to get into the first show. Yeah. Because there was nothing else.
Nothing else, yeah.
And then at the end of that, they were very cute. They used to have a talent competition. And of course, all the local people would come to see their own people in the talent competition. And then they were even cuter. They used to make out that 2 people at least, two of the actors were sick. So they picked 2 local people to star in the plays.
Oh my God.
So then the local people would come to see the people they knew making Egypts out of the in the plays, So it was all a kind of they were good at gathering crowds and knowing how to make money.
Well, I first came across you, believe it or not, my wife was pregnant with her first child, Tara, and there was an audition held in the Royal Hotel in Boyle.
I remember that.
And it was, everybody that wanted to be involved in the Late Late Show, they were looking for people to become on the Late Late Show.
I'm supposed to be doing the Late Late Show tonight.
Oh my God.
And I chose to come here instead.
You were dead right.
They're recording the country show tonight.
Well, I know that particular, it was in the Royal Hotel, and myself and Eamon Daly were we were auditioning to go on it as well. And it was all very nice and demure. And the next thing, it was Gary Street and the Fairways. And I remember you got up to sing, and from the place being lovely and quiet, it suddenly went, the volume. And my poor wife nearly had the baby on the spot. It was so noisy. And you remember you sang The House of the Rising Sun that night.
Well, I used to leave when he sang that because it'd take the head off you. It was they were a rock band,
Yeah, but you've gone through so many different styles. Yeah. I remember you had a 26-week series on RTE on a Sunday night. And then there was some kind of a strike, and they repeated it for another 26 weeks.
That's right.
So you ended up 52 weeks of Sandy Kelly on her show.
I think actually they did 3 series. They recorded 2 and then they repeated 1, which was a lovely experience. But if you think about my childhood, I grew up around all of that. Yeah. So really, to me, it was just a continuation of what I was born into. Yeah. So it wasn't. Other than learning songs, it wasn't.
I'd love to talk to you all night, but one thing I do want to talk to you about is your relationship with the great Johnny Cash.
How lucky was I? How lucky was I?
Yeah, exactly. How did that happen?
Well, I recorded Crazy in 1989, you might remember, some of you might remember, and there was Pirate Stations, you'd remember that, Charlie. Yeah. And I was going around in my car, not a very nice car at the time, knocking on doors and saying, hello, my name is Sandy Kelly and this is my new record and will you play it? And so I was in Cavan and the disc jockey very kindly invited me in to play the record, and he did a wee interview like you're doing now. And when it was finished the interview, he said, the phone rang, and he said, there's some man with an American accent on the phone. He wants to talk to you. I thought, I'm in the middle of Cavan. So I said, really? So I picked up the phone. I thought it was one of the band or somebody just
acting the maggot. Yeah.
So I said, hello, and this voice on the other end said, hello, hi, is that Sandy Kelly? This is Johnny Cash. And I said, no, it's Dolly Parton. Yeah. Pull the other one. And eventually then, after he said it a couple of times, I thought, oh my God, I think that is Johnny Cash. Yeah. And he said, we heard you on the radio, and we'd like you to come to the show tonight. And he got me up to sing, and a month later I was in Nashville, so dreams can come true,
And that's a fairy tale story.
But if somebody else was telling you, you wouldn't believe it.
No, and you have the pictures.
It is a fairy tale.
You have the pictures to prove it as well, the photographs and the records.
He was a wonderful person, and Trish Carskadden is down there tonight, and Deirdre, who's the manageress at Markree Castle. He came to Markree Castle in the Halloween of 1990, I think it was, Trish, wasn't it? And they all stayed, the whole family, and June and Johnny and himself, they all stayed for the weekend.
Oh, man.
And we recorded the video for Woodcarver, and he sang 40 Shades of Green, and they all sang, and they had a party that night, and they just loved it.
Yeah. I mean, that, to me, that'd be the same as meeting Paul McCartney. You know, you were coming from that genre of music.
Yeah.
And you were also one of the few people that were invited to Johnny's funeral.
Yeah, I was sadly a sad occasion, but I'm glad I was there because it was a very small affair, just family and very close friends, and they showed video either side of the altar of home video of their family growing up and you know, Christmases and stuff like that. And it was a very dignified, very small funeral, and by the grave then we all sang "Will the Circle Be Unbroken." I'm sure you all know that song. Yeah. So, but it was a sad occasion, but I was glad to have been there.
That was Sandy Kelly, ladies and gentlemen. Give her a big round of applause. Now, Sandy is going to sing for us in a minute, but Valerie wants to say a few words, so maybe it... Valerie Cogan.
I just want to thank you all for coming out tonight, and there's just a few people that I have to thank as well. Mickey Clerkin, who brought the sound system here tonight, John Flynn, who's on the video down there, to our dancers we had earlier on that did a great job, to Geevagh GAA and the One Blood Club committee for helping prepare for tonight and get everything ready, to Louise, Sarah and Dermot for taking part in the discussion tonight, to Sandy for coming out to launch the event for us, and big round of applause for Charlie McGettigan. He did a great job here tonight. And we'll see you all in Highwood on the 27th of April.
Sandy is going to formally launch the launch, if you like. So
I was just asking himself here, what am I launching? I'm at that age, I'm turning into Philomena Begley. I turn up at places and then I forget why I'm there. I would like to say, on a serious note, mental health is something very personal to me, and I suppose it touches every family in some way or other. And the reason I'm here tonight is because it did touch my family, as you all know. Sorry.
I know, Sandy.
So anything that creates an awareness or helps to get people talking about mental health and helps people to reach out and ask for help is a wonderful initiative. And I'm very proud to be here tonight and delighted to have been asked by Hubert to officially launch the mental health awareness, and thank all of the people who are promoting this wonderful initiative. It's a lesson too late for the learning, made of sand, will you sing with me? Made of sand. In the wink of an eye, my heart is yearning. In your hand, are you going away with no word of farewell? Will there be not a trace left behind? I should have loved you better, didn't mean to be unkind. You know that was the last thing on my mind. There's plenty of reason for going. This I know, this I know. The leaves are steadily growing. Oh, please don't go, please don't go. Are you going away with no word of farewell? Will there be not a trace left behind? I should have loved you better, didn't mean to as I lie in my bed in the morning. Oh, without you, every beat of my heart is a yearning. Oh, without you,
Are you going away with no word of farewell?
Will there be not a trace left behind? I should have loved you better, didn't mean to be unkind. You know that I want you to sing this time. Are you ready? You're not getting away that night. Are you going away with no word of farewell? Will there be not a trace left behind? I should have loved you better, didn't mean to be unkind. You know that was the last thing on my mind. Fantastic. You know that was the last thing on my mind. Thank you very much. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you so much.
I thought I'd try a song. I'm going to take a chance here that you might know it. And I know the audience will know it goes.
What is it?
Anybody get it, Jazz?
Do you know? I haven't a clue. What is it?
I want you to tell me why you walked out on me. I'm so lonesome every day.
Take it on.
I want you to know that since you walked out on me, nothing seems to be the same old way. I think about the love that burned within my heart for you, the good times we had before you went away on me. Let's hear you sing.
Walk right back
To me this minute, bring your love to me, don't send it. I'm so lonesome every day.
Second verse, same as the first. Sing the melody. Sing the melody.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I want you to tell me why you walked out on me. I'm so lonesome every day. I want you to know that since you walked out on me,
But
nothing seems to be the same old way. I think about the love that burns within my heart for you, the good times we had before you went away on me. Let's hear you, Sandy.
Walk
Right back to me this minute, bring your love to me, don't send it. I'm so lonesome every day.
I'm so lonesome.
I'm so lonesome every day. One more. I'm so lonesome every day.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Sandy Kelly.
Thank you.
Hubert says I wasn't to go home unless I sang this song for him. Incidentally, one of the the big organizer of this is Hubert McHugh, and he's become my hero. So would you please give a big round of applause to Hubert McHugh? If you know this one, join in.
I remember 62. I was 16, so were you, and we lived next door on the avenue.
Jerry Lee was big.
Jerry Lee was big and Elvis too. Blue jeans and blue suede shoes, and we never knew what life held in store. We just wanted to rock and roll forevermore. We were the rock and roll kids. Rock and roll was all we did, and listening to those songs on the radio. I was yours and you were mine, and that was once upon a time. Now we never seem to rock and roll anymore. You know, the funny thing, when you win the Eurovision Song Contest, you suddenly become a legend in your own mind, you know. But people have a great way of sort of bringing you down to earth. I remember we were doing a big Eurovision show. We had Linda Martin and Johnny Logan and everybody. But it was down in Limerick, and I was standing in the lobby at this hotel, and there was some kind of a function on, but there was a lot of people around. But Johnny Logan walked in the door, and of course everybody's jaw dropped, because Johnny is a rock star without even opening his mouth, you know. So he came over and he gave me a big hug, and he went off over to check in at the reception, and this little old lady came up to me and she says, "Was that Johnny Logan?" I said, "Yeah." "Are you his father?" Takes the wind out of your sails, you know. Now Johnny's in love with the girl next door, and Mary's down at the record store. They don't want to be around us no more. We're golden oldies, but we hardly speak. Too busy running to a different beat. Hard to understand that we were once like them. How I wish we could find those rock and roll days again. We were the rock and roll kids. Rock and roll was all we did, and listening to those songs on the radio. On your own. I was yours and you were mine. That was once upon a time. Now we never seem to rock and roll anymore. I was yours and you were mine. That was once upon a time. Now we never seem to rock and roll. We just never seem to rock and roll anymore. Geevagh Resource. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you very much.
Just on behalf of the club, I'd like to thank Charlie and Mickey and Sandy for coming tonight, and Valerie and Hubert for the wonderful work they put into this event tonight. We'd also like to thank Sligo County Council and Sligo Sports Partnership. Sligo Leader, sorry, Valerie, I got that wrong. Sligo Leader, who sponsored some of the funds for tonight, so I'd like to give them a big round of applause as well. Without any further ado, I think the tea ladies have tea and beautiful baking down there at the back, so everybody is welcome to go along and have a cuppa and have a chat. So look after yourselves, mind yourselves, and Charlie, we're going to rock and roll this competition, so we are.